We are recording. All right, I'm gonna go say goodnight to my kiddo and I'll be back.
Yep. Hi guys, this is Bethany Kelm, and I live in Ohio. And for those that are joining us, we're just gonna take your call or take your questions and talk through a couple of things. If you are watching the recording and you have other questions, we can address them at a later time. But this is just your call. We're here to answer questions and just see what you guys have for us. So is it just Melissa and Tracy on, I think? I know Tracy's showering. Melissa, did you have any questions for us tonight or anything that you wanted to review?
I don't know. I was kind of hoping somebody else
Other people would.
Something in my mind.
Yeah.
No, there's probably always questions of some form.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen you since last year at Summit.
I did ask a question in our group today, and I did get a couple of responses about if anyone has ever had anyone gain weight on the refresh. Because I had a customer who just gained like 5 pounds on the refresh, and she was not happy. And so I guess maybe even besides the point, I think this is my first like unsatisfactory customer experience. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely like empathized with her too and said like, I'm totally sorry that's the results you got. Like I did not like, I didn't experience that for myself. I hadn't really heard of that, but let me look into like,
why. Yeah. And it's uncommon for sure.
Blame herself either. And so I tried to listen to what she was saying too, and just say, please don't view this now that you feel like you're like 5 pounds heavier. Like, please don't view this as like a setback. You're already making a lot of progress developing healthier habits and a lifestyle. I hope you don't feel this is like a huge setback because you are trying to identify are making progress in other ways, even if like the scale or your measurements aren't reflecting it right now, because she didn't even have changes in measurement either.
Yeah. And she followed it to a T, because that's the other thing is she didn't.
She says, but
okay. Because that's what I always question when people say, they're not getting the results. I'm always like, okay, fill me in. What's your nutrition look like? Just because I think when people tell you the truth, I don't know where I learned this, that they tell you, 70% is not is what they tell you. And then you got to take another, 15 or 20% off?
Yes, for sure. And so I think that is hard because it is my first experience where someone's telling me they're not getting those results. I mean, I've had it where people just kind of fall off. So they're not getting results that way just because they're not showing up, and they fall off. But this is my first time having it where someone's saying, oh, I followed this and I'm not getting results. So I don't know if I should fully just, and it's unfortunate because I feel like that will hinder her future interest in things. I mean, she hasn't bought Shakeology yet. She didn't do a challenge.
Yeah, that was her first experience.
Annual. Yeah.
Melissa, are you talking about your cleanse check?
Oh, yeah. But so that in general, Jess, but then I was also saying just like, it's my first like unsatisfactory like experience with a customer. And so how much, I'm very much trying to not allow this to set her back and still say positives to her. But also, I mean, when do we just say like, yeah, well, if you weren't satisfied, there is that money back guarantee. Like, do I say that or do I mean, she's disappointed. And so I feel bad. I hate to have her return it in that sense. Well, I don't even know if I have the stuff, I guess. I would have to ask that because you have to have like kept the box and stuff, I think, to return. I don't know. I just don't, I hate for this to like ruin her total experience and just kind of fall off, because she's also been great at like posting stuff on social media about her healthier lifestyle. And she's like tracking healthy lifestyle, even though it's not all her beach body stuff, but just these changes she's making. So I see that as like a strength, and I hate to lose her like completely too, you know. So I feel really, I'm bummed for her. I'm surprised. I don't really know what to do. I don't know.
Now, did she do the Shakeology with the 3-day?
The 3 days, but this was her first, it's only 3 Shakeologies. That was her only experience, and I was planning on like sending her some additional ones to keep trying it to then see if she would want to continue in the long run. But it's 3 days of, that's all she's ever had.
I've never had somebody gain weight. Like one person, my neighbor across the street, didn't get any results from it.
Okay.
But I was like, again, kind of questioning,
Right, how
to be
close.
honest, how close she really followed it. Because her husband got all sorts of great results. And I was like, really? Like, and then I was like, well, do you have your before and afters? And she's like, I'm too embarrassed to show you my before and afters. And I was like, okay, did this chick take any pictures? Did she really gain 5 pounds, Melissa? Sorry, I'm like dwelling on this.
Her measurements didn't change at all, she said.
How does she feel? Does she feel better?
No, I don't think so. I think she feels bloated or I don't know. She's said she's like super disappointed. So she clearly doesn't see anything where she feels better. So
I guess I would navigate the money back guarantee. I don't know about you, Bethany, but
like keep her happy as like a
yeah, I was going to say that.
And I would still send her the Shakeology samples and be like, hey, I don't want to lose you. Like, I've never seen this happen before. And I asked my team, and they've never seen it happen before. And
I told her that,
you know,
I followed up with some coaches. This is like the only, like someone had posted earlier a little bit of feedback. So I did share that with her. And she did say, I appreciate you like following up on it, or, you know what I mean? So that's good.
And then I would follow up with, I would do the legwork to call like coach relations and see how she can return it. And if for some reason she can't return it, what they can, I've always just asked to speak to management and been like, if it's somebody who's really unsatisfied with something, which has only happened to me like literally in my 6 years of coaching, like 5 times, like literally a handful of times. But I'm like, what can you do to help me get her something for free or get her money back, or like, and usually you have to ask to speak to someone higher up, because when you speak like just to the regular representative in India, they're like nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, and really just give her the VIP treatment. Unfortunately, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So, and I like that point too. It's just that reminder of like, even something as simple when I worked my first job, how like I was always taught like the customer is always right. We do what it takes to make them happy, this and that. And so it does make me think, like, as much as I hate to say like, oh, well, you can return it, because I don't want that. But really, is that going to help me in the long run? No, she's just stay really disappointed. So what can I do to help her be satisfied in another way, since she wasn't satisfied with her results, and help her a good perspective of, us as a company, as myself as a coach, in a good way, that she would like continue to trust me maybe in some way, or feel that I, cared, because I do. So yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
That's what I would do. I would just take one for the team. It stinks. It stinks to have the return. It stinks to have to deal with someone unsatisfied. But if you can do everything you can to make her happy, you also don't want her word of mouth to tell people that the 3-day refresh made her gain 5 pounds. Like I would really just give her the VIP treatment and call Beachbody on her behalf and just kind of see what you can do.
Okay.
All of the above.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Just kind of kiss her butt, because it is weird, and just tell her that, like, it really is weird. It's not the norm to see that happen, and not that you don't trust her, but I don't know. I don't know if that helps. Anyone else have any advice on that? No. Okay.
I was just going to, real quick, I was going to say, if she didn't have the results, usually there's something positive. So I try to focus, just like with our challengers who don't lose weight, but then you look at the non-scale victories. But with 3 days, it's like, of course, weight's the big one. They want to see that number drop. And if they're not seeing that, but like even my pictures were huge. Even if it was 2 or 3 pounds, my pictures were. So that's where, if they're not doing all the measurements, it's just hard for me to know. But at the same time, you have to trust them. And just like you said, Jess, is go
or
for
even
it.
out too, like for me on that, it was learning how to not listen to every single craving or moment that I wanted to eat something, right? And realizing like drinking more water, fluids, like what are some other takeaways that hopefully she learned from it, even though she didn't get the results she wanted? Did she learn something that she can still take away and implement in another way, hopefully?
Yeah, for me, the 3-day refresh is always really a nice mental reset.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
obviously, people want to see the number change on the scale.
No, that's helpful though. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Other questions, concerns, things we want to chat about, ladies?
Melissa, I was just going to add in, did you say that she was running while she was doing the refresh too?
Yeah, I think she just recently started trying to run a little bit, and so it's new to her. I mean, she's postpartum, so she's really just getting into fitness. On my last challenge group, she was doing the Slim 6, which I know absolutely nothing about, but she found that program and liked it and has just said how out of shape she is. And recently she's been posting runs. She's been trying to run a little bit. So she was doing like a 2-mile run. I don't know how much of it she's running. I don't really know her fitness level in that sense, but she is trying to run. And so I didn't know if maybe her body is like storing onto that stuff because she needs to use it for energy for her runs. Like it's not like, when I did the reset, I went to yoga one day. I didn't even work out the other days. I did one day of yoga out of the 3 days and I had great results.
You're not supposed to work out on it, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Not really. I mean, it kind of says in there like, oh, you can or
Light
do
workouts.
I recommended the 3-day yoga retreat thing or whatever they created for it. But I did see a post about her running. So I'm wondering, and I had mentioned something like that too. Like, I made a note in my group, like, you're not really supposed to be like overworking out. Your body needs to use its energy to cleanse itself and like detox and allow everything to go towards that process, not towards, physical activity. And then she was like, yeah, my body didn't like it. I think I worked out too much. She did post that.
I mean, it's obviously a really fluke thing that everybody has already said. And I'm sorry I walked on late on the call, so maybe you already talked about some of this, but I think that like there probably was something going on with a supplement of some sort, and it maybe wasn't, it might have been the fiber stuff like somebody else had mentioned, but when I run, I gain muscle, and in 3 days, I mean, if she started running 2 weeks ago and like her muscle mass could catch up with her, she could be retaining water. There's lots of other things that could come in.
That all the fluid you drink, because at first I was weighing yourself in like day 2 or something. I'm like, get off the scale! Like you're drinking so many fluids, you're probably retaining all this like water or something too.
I would just think that like it's like the purpose of that 3 days is to reduce inflammation, and she may have just combated it with being too active or whatever it may be, and not. And we don't know for sure if people follow things to a T.
Right. Yeah, and it's my first time running a group on this, and I've only done it once myself, so I'm definitely not an expert in it, but I mean, I
take it to heart, you know what I mean? It was a fluke thing, and I think just like they said, do the VIP treatment and then like kind of move past it and just move on as well. And what a great way to segue into the 2B mindset, right?
Right. Yes, for sure.
Sorry, Jess, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were asking if there was any other questions, but
You did not cut me off. That was really good insight, Tracy. You're right. You're right. All right, ladies, what other questions do you have? I'm going to field Kayla's question, unless someone here has one. and just know this is totally an open forum. Like, I am not the expert in all things. So I love, Tracy, that you jumped in. I want you guys to share your insight. Kayla asked, talk to me about the damn like page. Sorry if there's little children. How much effort do you put into that versus your personal page? How do you go about not being repetitive on both pages? Some months I'll do really good and then I fall off and never post. I'm also trying to be more present on Instagram, which I feel is a better place to be than the like page. This is an excellent, excellent question. And Tracy and I were just met out for wine and we're chatting about this a little bit, like, where do I put my energy when it comes to social media? Because there's so many options out there and it's really, really overwhelming. And a lot of times you feel like you're going nowhere, but you're posting everywhere. Does that make sense? So again, I'm not an expert in all things, but I'm going to tell you kind of what I think, and I would love to hear you guys weigh in. First of all, as far as repeating information between your personal page and your like page, don't even worry about it. Go ahead and repeat, because technically you're trying to reach two different audiences there, right? I always recycle content from one place to the other. I recycle content to my Instagram, to my like page, to my Facebook personal page, because you really are trying to not reach the exact same people 3 times. And anybody who's following you in all 3 places, like I follow Bethany, for example, on all 3 places. I don't care if I see the same stuff 3 times in a row because I love Bethany. So I just like it 3 times and I keep rolling, you know? So it's like anybody who's really following you in all of those places probably loves you and doesn't care if they've seen it before. Am I right? Right, because we all follow each other in all those places, right? And we still love it. So don't worry about repeating yourself. I really think that it's totally fine. You can even just use content. Like, I use content constantly from one place to the next. Otherwise, you would go insane trying to come up with all sorts of different content for 3 different places. You can't. You just can't. I think sometimes you might want to change up the picture or whatever if it's like from Instagram to Facebook, because sometimes they don't translate back and forth all that well. But my second bit of advice, so that's my first bit of advice about repeating. My second bit of advice, and you guys have heard me say this because I always preach it, is just pick 1 to 2 platforms that you're really, really passionate about and learn everything you can learn about them as far as social media, and then to go all in on those 1 to 2 platforms. Once you've mastered them as well as you can, then I would bring on another thing. Because when I first started, I was like, I'm going to blog and I'm going to Instagram and I'm going to Facebook and I have a like page and I have all these things. And guess what happened? I did all of them really bad because it was too much and I don't have time for that. So I just think eventually you're going to want to drive all the people to your personal page, really, because that's where you can message people from. You can't message people. You can from Instagram and you can from your like page, but it's harder. So eventually anybody that you attract out in like page and Instagram world, eventually you're going to drive them to your personal page anyways, right? Am I right? So I guess I feel like your personal page better be kicking butt before you put a ton of energy into other forums. And if you feel like Instagram is where it's at versus a Facebook like page, that's awesome. Go for that. But I wouldn't try to grow all 3 simultaneously until you've got one that you feel really confident about. That's just my advice. I don't know if that makes sense because it's so overwhelming. And I feel what Kayla has said. I have definitely been like really hot on my like page and then I just disappear because I just can't come up with content and I can't put in the time. Bethany, I want you guys can unmute yourselves and chat with whatever you think. Learn and play and watch engagement. What's getting attention? I agree.
Yeah. Play, because I'm learning things all the time, like with stories. I just found out a new thing today. Like I was like, oh, you can highlight stuff. Like I've seen people do it, but I was like, I personally never knew how to do it. And I was just playing with it. Sorry, I have kids upstairs.
Declan do it. He knew.
Declan knew. He knows.
You know how to highlight.
Oh, but anyways, yeah. I try to post on my like page like once a day, and then I do my personal 3 to 5. And then stories anywhere from 5 to 10, always going. And we talked about that, the 5 that we had from at Super Saturday. You know, you guys know those 5. So it's your workout, your shake, something else that you do.
I'm gonna type those in the chat.
Yes.
Workout.
Food. Yep. Workout, shake.
I wasn't at our Super Saturday with Carl. Oh.
Something else. Food, and then a video invite.
Oh, I love video games.
Workout, food, shake, video.
Something else about you. So, like, I went to a soccer game today, so I could post about that.
Oh,
Is this in your stories, Bethany?
Yes.
Tracy, I know you were there too.
Yes.
was my
Sorry, there's 2 Tracys on here, so that gets confusing.
Yep. There are 2 Tracys. Yeah.
Yeah. This is in your stories.
Yes. So I do about 5 to 10 at any time. And then on regular Instagram, I've really backed off a lot because I'm putting my effort into stories. And so I'm like maybe once a day.
Can I tell you guys something that I just learned about Instagram stories? Speaking of, Bethany, to kind of piggyback on what you just said. So I hired somebody to help me with my Instagram and Jumper Media. And they told me that less is more on your actual Instagram page, just like Bethany just said, not your stories. Your stories you can be posting all day long, but less is more on your Instagram page, and you automatically start losing traction in Instagram world if you don't post at the same time every day. So I try to post at like 8 a.m. every morning, right, on my Instagram. I thought it was really weird. I never heard that before, but I was like, apparently they know. They know. I mean, I'm going to believe them. I was like, that's really weird. So you lose Instagram affinity, at least this past few weeks when I talked to her. Now, granted, that could change like next month, right? But she said you automatically lose affinity. You lose the people that Instagram is showing your stuff to if you post at like 8 a.m. and then don't post for 2 days, or if you post at 8 a.m. and then post at 2 p.m. the next day. So try to keep your time consistent for that first post of the day. Make sense? And she's like, less is more. You don't need to be posting 10 times a day on your Instagram. Instagram stories, go for it. Your Instagram, try to keep it really, really clean and really branded to you. So I thought that was really interesting. So I've been trying to post once a day at like 8 a.m., but it doesn't have to be 8 a.m. That's just a good time for me to do it. I'll fill you guys in on other stuff she told me. I need to kind of schedule a meeting with this gal, but we'll see. We'll see. Bethany asked me how I had grown my Instagram so much, and that is how, because this chick's helping me. So obviously I realize that not everybody's there yet, but with their business, but you are, yes, I will tell you this chick's info, but you are to a point in your business where, I mean, just little tips like that. I was like, who knew? Because I was all over Instagram, like posting a million different times and things. And my page didn't look super clean. And they told me basically it looks like a personal page. And I was like, that was not what I was going for. So I was like, okay. Like, it doesn't look like your brand. And I was like, okay. But in stories, it's totally different. That can look personal. You should have all the things, like Carl said. So heck if I know, but try the time thing and see if your followers go up. Okay? All right. That's all I know about that. But any other thoughts on Facebook like pages, Instagram, Facebook personal pages, Tracy? While I know that you've been dabbling in all these things, and do you have any insight?
I do. I was just writing down some things right when Kayla asked the question. I think you post where your audience is. So I found in the beginning, poured everything into my like page. And this might sound completely backwards to some of you, but in my own mind, it made sense. It was easier for me to be vulnerable to strangers on my like page.
Makes total sense.
Than people on my page. Okay. So I tested the waters and put everything out into the world on my like page for like the first year or two. And then the Facebook affinities changed and like nobody was going to your like page anymore. It was all on your personal page.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You remember when that happened? Oh,
yeah.
the algorithms. The algorithms. So I was growing my own personal page, my own personal following anyways. So then what happened was I have half the amount of people on my like page and double the amount of people on my personal page. It made no sense to pour everything into a page that had half the people and wasn't really doing much. So I made a flip. So you have to just kind of see what your audience is. Do you have 1,000 people on your like page and 300 friends on your personal page, or is it vice versa? If you want to post where your audience is. So that would be my first tip. And then on your like page, I feel like it's the same thing with your timing for Instagram. My like page doesn't get much traction anymore if you're not consistent with it. And if you have to find that perfect time that it's going to scroll through someone's feed. Like this morning, I had 8 people like a post, and I haven't had 8 people like a post on my like page for like weeks. And it's because of the time of day that I posted. I'm going to play around with that. So Bethany wrote in chat, play around with things, play around with your timing. You have to find out what works for you. Instagram is a totally different audience. It's all visual. That's all you'll ever keep hearing from people is just, you've got to have that photo that's just like eye-catching and pops and stops the scroll. The content isn't as important. It's supposed to be shorter versus Facebook, where you can go on and add a lot more content and value. Let me see, find a fit for each. If you feel like you want to post to all, so you just have to find a way to fit it all. If you want to post all of them, I do post everything. I'm at the point now where it's like I'm once or twice a day on my personal page, once on my like page, and then crazy Instagram stories. I have a lot on my stories, and then once, maybe twice a day on my slideshow for Instagram, if that makes sense. But it's just kind of working for me. And what I do is, like, if I have a hot morning post on my Facebook, I wait till the afternoon to start commenting on it, because it's going to scroll back into people's feeds. Do you guys all know that?
Tell me again. Yeah. Sorry, this one's out of bed and should not.
I said if I post, let's say I post something this morning and it got responses right away. I wait to respond to all of them. Yeah. I don't hop on and respond right away. I let it roll, and then tonight I will go back and respond to people, or in the afternoon, whatever time I want it to, like, kind of resurface again.
Sometimes I respond the next day too for that reason.
Yes. Night, wait till the next day, and then it keeps circling.
Yeah.
All those things you can play with. And like Jess said, just recycle your photos or get a different angle. It could be like the same photo, but just a different angle. So you have one for Instagram, one for Facebook. The content can be maybe a little longer for Facebook, and then you summarize it and tweak it for Instagram. So I think those are really my suggestions for you all. Post for your audiences. And if you don't have an audience there, play around with it, especially Instagram stories. You'll get one. It'll happen. I've even on my Instagram page said, like, referred to check out my stories before it's gone, or whatever it may be. Like, it might be a picture of what I was eating for the day, and I would reference check out stories, because I want to draw people into my stories, because I do so much more value there than anywhere else, I think. It's just a chance for people to really see who you are. And I think that's probably the most valuable thing. So I think that's all I got.
You can do stories and feed it into your Facebook as well.
You can link it.
Yeah, that helps.
Do you find Facebook stories are getting any traction for you guys?
I always have way less viewers on that.
Yeah.
Well, do you do the Facebook stories on your personal page, or I also see you can do them on the business page piece? I've just always had it off of my personal page, and it'll be like 6-8 people who look at it.
Same. I agree, Tracy. Those are really, really good tips. And the other Tracy and I were talking about that the other day. Like, you've got to post where your audience is. More people are going to see it on your personal page until you grow that like page, and that takes a while. And were you guys on the call with Rachel Hollis? Okay, she was amazing. But I loved how she said, look at, it seems like common sense, but a lot of times I feel like we don't really. You got to look and see what your audience is responding to, like Tracy said, and then give them more of that. I really think that that's important. And don't be afraid to recycle the content all over. You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I was going to say mine is getting like potty training right now is really popular. Like everyone's loving potty because that's
Right?
what I'm doing. And it's like, that's what's getting 100 likes? What? But it's just what, what people can relate to, and people
People can relate to it. Let's be
want to
real.
laugh. They want to laugh, because life's too serious. So that's what I'm trying to make my audience laugh more. I don't know.
You need to go to bed.
I would say also keep positive. I don't get a lot of negative like Facebook posts on my feed, and I think it's because I'm surrounded by all of you and we're all really positive. But people tell me all the time, like, you're so positive and uplifting and inspiring, and there's so much negativity out there. You're like a breath of fresh air. So keep being that person. Just don't bring the negative in. I think that's in all of your formats. Just think about being really authentic too, but being really positive too, because I think that your audience will keep coming back for that because there's so much other garbage out there, if that makes sense. So Jess left. So are there any other questions?
Bethany, we're talking about doing the video invites in stories and stuff. Whenever I've done a live video and said that I want to post it into stories, and this was on Facebook though, it never uploaded. Like I never saw it later. So whoever was watching me live in the moment could see it. But once I said to add to stories, it seemed to like never add. Now I do know recently someone had recommended a certain app for using like stories to make it longer thing, whatever it was. So I did download the app. I just have never used it yet.
There's an app that makes your clips into 15 seconds for Instagram.
Something
and you
like
probably Facebook stories too, but Facebook stories I struggle with uploading anything to it. I had something trying to upload for 7 days and I couldn't post anything to that because it just kept cycling. So I don't know if it was my devices or if it's just Facebook stories in general, but you're talking about Facebook stories, not Instagram stories.
Well, I don't know. Said doing video invites through stories, so I assume that's when you were talking about Instagram stories, like the 5 things for Instagram. So maybe it works better for Instagram than Facebook. I don't know, Bethany, have you ever tried to put them on Facebook too, those video invites?
Yeah. So typically I do the video invites, but I haven't done a lot of live. I'll just do them and then post it to them later.
Oh,
And I'll just use the clip. And I typically just use whatever my front clip is. And then sometimes I'll edit it privately just because I haven't gotten into the app yet to do the 15-second clips.
yeah.
But it's probably way less time to do that. But I don't know. Jenny, you've done live, right?
Yeah.
How did that,
Yeah.
Did it work well?
Yeah, it works well, but my only problem is I live out in the sticks, and so I lose connection, and so I just have to pause and wait for internet to come back. But I haven't had any trouble with it posting. I did a live this morning during my workout, and it took a while for it to post, probably about 10 minutes, but it was there, no problem.
In stories?
In stories, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know then. I'll have to keep trying, I guess.
What else you got, ladies? Tracy was just saying she hates it how when people respond to your Facebook story, it shows up a messenger and like you can't tell what they're talking about. I hate that too.
Mm-hmm.
Annoying. Instagram is better for that.
Just another. Are all of you guys using Instagram stories?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you also like two people that I think are amazing to follow are Melissa McAllister. I hope all of you guys are following her. She's very good about getting people to engage.
I don't watch her stories though. I stink at watching stories.
Yes.
I'm so bad about watching people's stories.
Watch her stories. Well, I love watching her abs. But and Courtney, is it Lindenblum? I always say that last name wrong. Courtney, her Instagram is just like phenomenal. It's been blown up. She has a lot of traction. She's actually who I just started one day and was like, I'm just gonna play around with it. And I started watching her and I was like, I'm just gonna mimic a little bit of her for a while. And then it just got really easy to just keep posting and kind of doing it on my own organically now. Using that poll feature, try to do that every day. See if you can get some people to engage with that poll, because it opens up the window for messaging or ask a question, and like just intriguing kind of a question, a thought-provoking question, and then like see how many people actually type up and respond to you. It's really nice because it kind of, they're coming to you now, and now you've got that conversation going back and forth. So use Instagram stories not just to tell all about you, but engage them, pull them in, and bring them back. I think that's a great way to use the tool.
And check stories because it's constantly changing. I just found one today where it's like you could poll people like how much of something you like it or love it.
Oh, really?
I said, how much do you love like working your booty? And you can like drag the love symbol up or down. I don't know. It was, I just played.
Cool.
So like what I'm noticing is that stories is changing what you can place within the story. Do you know what I mean? To jazz it up. And we don't want to look too cluttered, but I try to always do location, and I try to always do hashtag.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. I've never seen that feature. Obviously, I'm not playing with it enough. Instagram is really new to me. I'm old. I feel like I'm old. One thing, I'm on a mastermind call. I do a mastermind with the like 3 to 9 star diamonds. And one thing that this one chick said on a call about Instagram that I thought was really interesting is she said she likes to do like a food picture and ask people if they want the recipe. But instead of doing like a yes or no, it's like, of course, or please, like it's either yes or yes, basically. And then she's like, drop your email below or drop your, so she has a way for them to engage with her to get the recipe. And I thought that was cool. Like, she's like, I don't want them to answer no. They're going to answer yes or yes. But then it's a way for me then to reach out to them, because people always want recipes. And I was like, that's really smart. People are like recipe junkies. So I was like, that's really smart, because then the polls get a lot of, Instagram they're going to give a lot of affinity to the poll. They like it when you use their little, I know they like it when you use their little things. You know what I'm talking about? But I thought that was really smart, because then you've got a way to connect with people. If they're like me, like drop a emoji or whatever in the comments. So that was cool. Yep. People want recipes. People want to eat healthy, but they don't know what to make. So food porn. And I do it to all you guys too. I'm like, what's my recipe?
I struggle with that because I don't use recipes. Like and I feel like that's what challengers always want.
I know, they do.
That's like a way to provide value to them. And I just don't, I have to be really mindful of it and do it, because that's just not my style. I'm one who just throws stuff together. So I'm always wondering and thinking, like, what other way, because I want to always be providing more value, on my posts, in my groups. And I'm just trying to think, okay, that's just so not me. And I know I should do it more often, just find something easy online and put it on there, or I use Beachbody stuff a lot on occasion, but I still don't provide recipes probably as much as people would like, because it's just not my thing.
Could it be part of your brand?
What's another provide value or give them those things that's not just recipes, but people must like recipes. I don't have time to read a recipe. I just throw stuff in a pan.
Could that be part of your brand?
Use that. That's you. Use that.
I don't have time to throw.
Call it your garbage food or something, and like hashtag it garbage food or whatever it is. And that's your niche. That's your thing. You're going to pull that audience in. It's you. Post it. Put it up there. Try it for a week.
I feel like Chelsea.
People want people like you.
Yeah. I feel like Chelsea McQueen. Oh, sorry. We're like, she's cutting it. I'm sorry. I like totally talked over you. I'm sorry, Tracy. I feel like Chelsea McQueen, other Tracy can vouch for this in our challenge group, and Bethany too, that she's often one's like, look what I'm making. And we're all like, recipe. And she's like, I don't know. I just threw like stuff in the pan, So I think that could be part of your brand. Like Tracy said, come up with a hashtag, and you can have like top 10 foods to always have in your kitchen to throw together like a one pot dish, you know, like I'm totally cool with that. If you just told me like what to throw together, I could do it, you know?
And I forget too, like each time I do a challenge group, like there's new people coming in and I'm like, oh, these recipes are old, but they're new for those for those newbies. So like keep offering those recipes, those simple ones. Like what are ones you can make in 10 minutes if you forget, what to have. I don't know. Yeah, that's an area I definitely need to push a little.
Sorry. Anything else, guys? Sorry, Tracy. I feel like I totally cut you off. I did not mean to. I think we were talking at the same time, like saying the same thing. So, anything else? Poor Jenny. It's so late there. I love your hair, by the way.
Thank you.
It looks super cute. Do you feel
Thank
like a new person? Like,
Yeah.
it looks really nice.
Thank you.
Super nice. Anything else that's burning questions for you guys? Was this helpful? Okay. Good. Good. Well, I know everybody's time is super precious, and I know that it's really late for our Eastern time zone gals. Noelle, did you have any questions? Tracy? Jenny?
Nope.
No. Oh my gosh, my dog's insane. This is like my insane life here. Insane dog, insane children. Yes, you say hello. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. I'll post the recording, and if anything comes up, just shoot us a message. But thank you guys for just being here and your participation, and it's just nice to connect.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I learned a bunch of stuff, so I'm excited to try some new Instagram stuff.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
You guys at Summit. Bye.
Bye.